let's imagine tomorrow, let's imagine a better tomorrow here at Tomorrowland. Did you know that flowers can glow? It's pretty cool. How? Well, so if we see the spectrum of light, we see the world because of light, right? Red, blue, yellow. But insects, like a butterfly, see an extra ultraviolet light that you and I can't see. And I sort of got fascinated by that. And we started going back to the lab and mimic that very specific wavelength. So daytime, specialized orchids, nighttime. So no AI, no Photoshop, real flowers that glow. So we see the world through the eyes of a butterfly. We see actually what they're seeing. So what glows are actually the pollen. So basically the flower is sort of like a seduction machine trying to say, come to me, come to me. And I find it so fascinating. And we started to apply that through the garden that I have. And suddenly the whole world started to glow.
There is a light we rarely see. A world waiting just beyond our vision. What if I could see through the eyes of a butterfly? Beauty we've never truly known. Under the night sky, a world awakens. Glowing, vibrant, alive. Every step forward, revealing what was hidden. Now I see the world as it was meant to be seen. Brighter than we ever imagined.
Camellia, specialized orchids. When I started this project, I couldn't even keep my own houseplant alive. But you always surround yourself by people who are in some kind of way smarter than yourself, right? Daytime, nighttime. And I love that, by seeing the world through the eyes of a butterfly, you see nature not just as an inspiration, but actually as an activation, as a sort of force that we can learn so much from. And these are photos taken by a regular iPhone, right? No Photoshop, no enhancement. A beautiful way of seeing the world through a fresh perspective, through a fresh lens. These are the pollen. These are millipedes.
A world waiting, just beyond our vision.
So I got 3,000 of those in my garden walking around. They're a bit creepy, but I still like them, right? Yeah. And so why do we have streetlights burning the whole night, right, when nobody's there? And how can we implement nature more in our everyday life or in our so-called smart city? I think that's sort of the thinking and the vision that drives me. That's sort of the lens, the perspective I want to see that better tomorrow. One of the things that fascinate me is how we celebrate, right? We're here at a festival, we party, we do all kinds of stuff. And one of the things that we keep on doing is firework, right? Traditional firework. And okay, it can be cool, but 10 times more air pollution, right? We see it here. Complete cities are sort of blown up, people lose their eyes, all the birds die because of the noise. My dog goes completely crazy, right? And so one morning I woke up and I said, how can we keep that tradition of celebrating, right? That's important. But we can modernize it, right? We can keep traditions, but at the same time evolve them. So we designed Spark, what you see here. Biodegradable firework, friendly firework. So what you're looking at are sort of bubbles of floatables that reflect and absorb light, creating this huge cloud that vaporizes the same night, does not leave any residue or pollution, is silent. And it was so interesting. When we started this project, people are always like, is it possible? Is it allowed? Now we've done 16 countries in 3 years. This is Melbourne, daytime, nighttime. Nice, right? Imagine you're on your way back to work. Central Station is in the back, or the students with their pizza box. You see this, right? We always do it free entrance. That's really important, so it's for everybody. And I believe that we should use beauty as a strategy to help people to create change. It's really interesting. Use beauty as a strategy to help people accept change. Not the numbers, not the money, not the technology, not just the data, but you see something beautiful. You're not really sure what it is, but you open up. And changing the city into this dreamscape and showing that we can celebrate in a friendly way. And it's finally something my dog really likes. Basically, I designed it for him. Yeah. So I'm from the Netherlands, right? And as you may know, most of our country, my country, is below sea level. But it's because of these beauties, the Afsluitdijk, 32 kilometer, built by hand in 1932, that we as the Dutch don't die, right? So on the left you have the sea, on the right the Netherlands. And this is sort of very interesting, right? Because if we would have just been very logical and rational, we would have just moved to you guys, to Belgium, right? Away from the water. Well, we didn't. Maybe good for you, right? We stayed. And it's because of this very smart use of technology and creative thinking, we don't die. But sometimes, even the Dutch forget. And so the Water Council, sort of the group of smart boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, who manage all the pumps and the windmills and the dikes, ask us to create water awareness. And so we created this, Waterlicht. And basically what I did is, I asked myself, what if this government body of smart people just does nothing for 1 year, right? They all go on holiday, do not reply their email or their phone. What happens when they do nothing? Well, this happens. The world starts to flood. We show the impact of the rising sea level. We show a world that is changing. This was on Museum Square in Amsterdam.
Walking around the building here is kind of surreal, like being underwater, but you're not.
I had problems to breathe, so it's absolutely crazy.
Kind of like drowning, but in a nice way.
On one hand, I had a feeling of fear, and on the other side, it's just like being part of an illusion, being part of a real Fata Morgana. It's like a combination of destruction and possibilities at the same time.
It tells me about the climate change. It tells me about what we're doing with the earth. So we should be careful.
If people see this, they want to change something about it. So I'm not very scared when I look at it. I think it gives me more hope.
This was Museum Square, 60,000 people. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And what is so fascinating about this is I would tell you that sea level would rise 2.5 meters before the year 2100. like boring, right? Somehow numbers don't help to create change, create awareness, create action. But once you see it, right, once you feel it, once you drag it into an experience, that's when people start to wonder, like, hey, how do I want my future world to look like? Or how can I be engaged in managing or living with nature, or actually learning from nature? And as always, this started to travel. We love doing this sort of site-specific works of art. This is in a UNESCO World Heritage, a castle in the Netherlands. This is a good day, by the way. You see all the water? And so the director commissioned us to create that water awareness. And we started to flood it. Look at all the people underneath. Make everything dark. And then the waves above you. On one hand, it's a bit eerie, right? Is this our future world? But on the other hand, it's also very hopeful, because it's not our reality yet. And we can be part of that change, of that positive change, instead of just being scared of the future. I'm saying we, because of course, the life of an artist like me is not some kind of, depressed Van Gogh sitting on the attic cutting off little pieces of his ear, right? I think that didn't really happen anyway, but it's team, right? So this is why I started the studio in Rotterdam, an old glass factory filled with light, filled with ideas, and a great team of designers, engineers, project managers. Like when you do innovation, you're always an amateur trying to become an expert. So you have to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, challenge them, push a great idea, and then make it reality. And I'm the son of a scientist, right? So technology is part of the tool I use to sort of explore that creativity, to explore that world of tomorrow. You remember these glow-in-the-dark little stars that you had on the ceiling when you were... people are shaking their head. Yeah. Yes, well, I have been staring at them way too long when I was a 5-year-old. That would explain a lot. They charge at daytime and glow at night. Phosphorant, glow-in-the-dark material. I've been so fascinated with that. How can we create a world which uses nature to become energy neutral, to be more friendly? And so we went to the lab and making the most glow-in-the-dark material which is out there. Not the Chinese crap that you can buy online, but like the good stuff, right? And while we were doing these tests, we got a request from these guys, the Van Gogh Foundation, who wanted to celebrate the 125th anniversary of Van Gogh. And they basically came to me and asked, can you make something to make him feel more alive again? And I love that challenge. And so we combined our material research with his famous painting, connecting these two worlds, and made this. A bicycle path that charges at daytime and glows at night. Van Gogh literally walked these grounds in 1883. We know this by a fact. And so we took his amazing heritage, but connected it to the world of the future.
It's just like we're laying on a starry night.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was weird. That was weird because when we launched this, suddenly something happened we never expected. Suddenly, a bicycle path became world news. It's sort of weird, right? When we talk about mobility, it's always Tesla, BMW, you name it. But nobody really thinks about our roads, our infrastructure, the thing you see while you're driving, right? And so a collaboration with Heijmans, one of the largest infrastructure companies. And now, apparently, it became a hotspot for teenagers who first go on their first date to the cinema in the big city and then take a stroll afterwards and do the things they do on a first date. I don't have nothing to do with that, but, but what I'm trying to say is make sure that technology jumps out of the screen, connected to history, to something that happens on that location. And then you can create the worlds of pragmatism and poetry. Then you can connect something functional with something fantasy. So it's all about designing that missing link. Or here, this is 20,000 square meter of leek agriculture. We were challenged to think about the future of food. And so in the talks with the farmers and the bankers and the photobiologists, people who know everything about light and how it helps crops to grow better, and I'm a city boy, right? In the beginning I knew nothing. We designed this, Grow. So what you're seeing here is not just to highlight the places that feed us, right? Which is important, but the red and the blue actually helps the crops to grow better, and the ultraviolet light that is in it reduces the impact of pesticide up to 50%.
Vacant, empty, uninhabited. We often dream about creating a better future, yet we hardly notice the fields that feed us. How can we show the beauty of agriculture? How can we make the farmer the hero? And how can light help crops to grow more sustainably? Step by step, learning, improving, growing.
And so suddenly this ordinary field of leek was transformed in a work of art, combining science, photobiology, science, like the McCree curve helps us to, that specific light helps crops to grow better. It's used in indoor, right, in the greenhouses, but we did it outdoor. And I think this is the true future. This is the true world of tomorrow, that we combine worlds that are normally disconnected. Farmer, artist, science. So beautiful. And last one, I'm going to take 3 minutes extra because you surprised me with the mic. I have 832 slides, by the way, but I will edit myself. Light, right? Light is a language. At the same time, it also creates light pollution, right? This is Leiden, one of the most light polluted areas in the world. 7% increase more light. Street lights that are burning when nobody's there. Gas stations fully lit after closing out. You know what I mean. And I'm always surprised by that. Why do we treat it so brutal? And so one morning, I had this idea, a sort of boyish, childish idea. What if one night we would just switch it all off, right? Lights off, stars on. Not like an Earth hour for an hour. No. Everything. And after a couple of months searching, negotiating, begging, we found a mayor in the Netherlands who said the beautiful word, yes. Daytime, nighttime.
One night, I realized that there's this amazing light performance above us, but we don't see it. Over 80% of the world population is disconnected from our universe because of light pollution. To bring back the stars, I ask an entire city to switch off all their lights.
UNESCO aims to recognize seeing stars as our universal heritage.
Seeing stars is one switch away.
Thank you. And this was like a really simple idea, right? Really complicated to execute. Safety, everybody had to work together. But it was so fascinating to think about the future not about adding, but actually removing and therefore revealing what's already there. Like, why don't we see the stars anymore? Placing telescopes all around the city, explaining what you're seeing. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe this is how I would love to see the world of tomorrow. Fueled with wonder and curiosity, removing, revealing, connecting. And I think if we start looking and exploring the world through that lens, there's still a whole new world to be explored. Thanks so much.